Today I wanted to tell you about a dash cam that I've been using that I'm really happy with. I already had another dash cam, but it was a pretty basic one, didn't have many features, and the video quality honestly wasn't that great. So I jumped at the chance when Rove contacted me and asked me if I would review their Rove R2-4K dual channel dash cam. And as I read up about it before they sent it to me, it looked like it would be the kind of dash cam that I could really use. It is much better than the one I've got. It's a very full-featured dash cam, and it offers a lot of capabilities and has some great technical specifications. I've been using it for a while, and I'm very pleased with the video output of it, both in the daytime and the nighttime. And here's a quick look at some of the videos that it took. We'll look at more of those later. But first, let's take a close look at the Rove R2-4K dual channel dash cam and see what it offers. The Rove R2-4K dual dash cam comes in a really nice sturdy box. Some of the features are shown right on the front of the box, such as the dual channel dash cam, 4K looking forward, 1080p looking out the rear window, the Sony Starvis 2 image sensor, over-the-air firmware update using the Rove dash cam app. It has built-in 5G Wi-Fi with up to 20 megabytes per second download speed, a 3-inch IPS wide display, built-in GPS for geotagging, and supports up to a 1 terabyte micro SD card. The side of the box shows it also comes with a G sensor. It has a built-in supercapacitor, it does not use batteries, and an f1.5 aperture on the front camera. The front camera has a 150-degree angle of view, and the rear camera has a 140-degree angle of view. It does loop recording, 2 different video codecs, of course HDR, motion detection, night vision. It's a 24-hour parking monitor if you get the optional kit. It's not included in this box, and a screensaver. So let's take a look inside the box. The first thing you see right off is that it comes with a 128 gigabyte micro SD card. That's nice. That way you don't have to go out and buy an additional card for this. There's a good-sized, very informative owner's manual. Lots of good examples and illustrations in there, and step-by-step instructions. They recommend using just Rove micro SD cards. Not surprised they recommend using their own, but I'm sure that other SD cards would also work as well. Just some more regular paperwork. This is a protective electrostatic film for the sticky mount of the front camera. Sometimes the sticky mounts are hard to get off of the windshield if you decide you want to take it off and mount your camera another way or in a different position. With this, it makes it very easy to take that sticky mount off of your windshield. This electrostatic film goes on the windshield first, and then you put the sticky mount onto this film. When it's time to remove it, you can simply peel this film up. It's easy to get the sticky mount off. There's also a sticky mount for the rear camera too. Now we get to the hardware parts. Here's the front camera, the 4K camera. There's the front of it. There's a place on the top for the window mount. That is where you plug in the rear camera, right on top of the front camera. On the right side of the camera, that's where the micro SD card goes in, and there's the power button. On the left edge of the camera is where the power and data cord goes. And on the back side of the camera, which will be facing the driver, are the menu and control buttons. And there's a warning card on the back of the front camera. It lets you know that the R2-4K camera is a supercapacitor dash cam that requires a continuous power source for operation. So once it's plugged into a power outlet, it turns on only when your car turns on, and it turns off when your vehicle is shut off. Next, we'll look at this box. It contains the Rove rear camera, the 1080p camera, the Rove dual USB fast charger, the suction mount, and the sticky mount. So it comes with 2 types of mounts. And in the manual, it recommends you start out with the suction mount. Use that to be sure you've got the right position that you want the camera in. And then once you find the position that suits you, then you can attach the camera with the sticky mount if you want to. Here's the fast charger, and it has a regular USB and a USB-C port on it. And these are the 2 mounts, the suction mount and the sticky mount right there. And this is the rear camera, 1080p. There's the sticky mount for it. But it does come with that piece of electrostatic tape that you can apply first to your rear window before sticking it on. And the rear camera does rotate, so you can get it at just the right angle to see what you need to see. And the last box has all the additional things you need. There's a 12-foot USB Type-C power cable, a 6.5 meter USB Type-C rear camera cable, a 1 meter USB Type-C data cable, spare stickers, cable hiding clips, a wire trim tool, and wet cleaning pads. So that is everything we should need. So now I'm going to install it in my car. For the purposes of this review, I am going to use this suction mount. Before we hook anything up though, I'm going to insert the micro SD card into the front camera. And you do it with the back side of the card facing the front of the camera. And push it down until it locks into place. It is spring loaded, so you can push it again and it'll pop right up. Then I'm going to take the covering off the lens in front and take the card off of the back of the camera. The camera is ready to be plugged in and powered up. And there's a page in the manual that tells you what each thing is for. And these pages tell you what each button does, as well as the appearance and some of the features of the cameras. It also has shortcuts and understanding the buttons pages. And it tells you details about mounting the camera. They suggest here in the manual that you mount it on the right side of your rearview mirror. Potentially that's the place where it would least obstruct your vision out the front windshield. But I'm going to mount mine on the left side and behind the rearview mirror. I plugged the 12-foot cord into the power supply, and I'm going to plug that into the power outlet. Plug the other end into the camera on the side.
Please format the memory card before first-time use.
Okay, so we'll do that. This is not a touch screen, so you have to press the OK button.
Format successful.
That was really quick. Okay, click OK again for next, and it says set date and time, so we'll do that. So I've got my time set, and since it's plugged in, it automatically started recording. So I'm going to unplug it, attach the suction mount, and attach the front camera to my windshield. But first I need to clean off that area on my windshield. Everywhere I think I might possibly want to mount it. I want to give the suction cup a good clean surface to attach to. And then it says to use the included cleaning wipe to wipe it down, let it air dry, and then attach the camera. I'm going to peel that sticker off of the suction mount, but it does remind you to avoid the dot matrix pattern up there along the top edge of your windshield. If you have that, that is not a good place to try to stick the suction cup. The bottom of the suction mount slides into this slot on top of the camera. I just got it started there, and then I'm going to push it all the way over to the left into place. I cleaned off this area, so I am going to go ahead and mount it on the right side, upper right side of my rear view mirror. So a little trial and error going on. A good example of why you should use the suction mount first before the sticky mount. And once you get it positioned where you want it, push hard on the suction cup against the windshield and then rotate this lever all the way clockwise until it stops. That should lock it onto your windshield. I'm going to plug the power supply back in and turn the car on and see what kind of view we have with it positioned like it is and see if it needs to be adjusted. So I've got a pretty good straight ahead view. So I think I'm good to go. You can rotate it back and forth and up and down till you get the view that you want. And for now, I'm going to try to route this power cable around the sun visor and down the side so it's out of the way. And I can come up with a more permanent solution later on. To do a better job of routing the power cord, you can also use these adhesive clips. You can route the cable through there and stick this on part of your windshield or your interior trim, somewhere like that, to keep the cable out of the way. And there's 5 of those included in the package. When you decide you have everything where you want it, there's this trim tool to put it in more of a permanent area. You can pull pieces of trim out and then put some cable behind it and put it back down over it and hide the cable to a great extent. And later, when you're sure you have the right position for your camera, you can take it off the suction mount and in that same spot attach this electrostatic film to the windshield. Kind of shows you how they've done it there. You can see the outline of the film. Put that against the windshield, then put the sticky mount on the camera, peel the backing off of the sticky mount, and attach it to that electrostatic film. And that'll make it very easy to take it off of that film if the time comes that you need to. And now I'm going to attach the rear camera to my rear window. And it just has a sticky mount. It doesn't have a suction mount. So they do include this piece of electrostatic film to put on the rear window. Has a section there where you stick the camera. And the only thing to watch out for here is the lines on your rear window. If you have defroster lines, if they're far apart, that's great. The further apart they are, the better, as far as sticking this on anyway. But mine are a little bit close together. So I'm going to actually cut this down to match the shape and size of this sticky pad. So it'll be more of an exact match. And that way I can make it fit between the lines of my rear window defroster. But I'm sure people have just applied this whole pad on there and it worked okay. I'm just going to be picky about it. I've got it on there. I think I've made good contact. I'm going to plug in the power cord. And that gets plugged into this side of the camera. And I run the rear camera's cord up to the front and plug it into the top right there. And make sure you push that cable all the way in at the top. So to make sure that the rear camera is working properly, you can switch the camera view at any time from front to rear by pushing this button. And so that is my rear view camera. So my rear camera is working correctly. Right now it's pointing a little bit high, looking at the tops of the trees, so I've got to change that. I went back and tilted the camera down some and moved so I could kind of get a better view, and I think I've got it about where I need it to be. There's front view, there's rear view. Looks pretty good. Instead of having an internal battery that makes sure your last video is saved when you turn off the car, it has a supercapacitor. It stores enough charge so that when you turn off your vehicle, it makes sure that the last video footage taken by the dash cam is saved. Having the supercapacitor is better than having an internal battery, actually. The internal battery will eventually die and it can't be replaced. It's just part of the inner workings of a dash cam. So it would no longer back up the final video footage before you turned off your vehicle. The supercapacitor actually extends the life of your dash cam, makes it useful longer because there's no battery to die, so you never have to worry about losing that final footage. And with the dual camera system dash cam, the front and the rear cameras are actually recording at the same time. So you get two separate files from the same moment. You always have a record of what happened in front of you and behind you, which could be very important in case of an accident. So looking at the screen, when the red lights are flashing, that means it's recording. The one actually on the screen and the one over there to the left. So it's actively recording right now. This symbol there is the GPS. That means the GPS is on. The Wi-Fi has a line through it, so the Wi-Fi is not enabled right now. When you do enable it through the menu, that means you can see the video footage from the dash cam on your phone and do some other things there too. The camera icon shows it's in video mode. It's set on a 1-minute loop recording, meaning it records 1-minute segments of video and then starts over again. And you can change that, which I think I'm going to do that. HDR is active. That's high dynamic range. Exposure value, it's on automatic. You can change that if automatic doesn't seem to be giving you consistent, accurate results, but it should. It has a G sensor, that's active. If you would get hit in an accident or bumped pretty hard, that G sensor would automatically lock the video recording that would include that accident. That way that clip couldn't be erased. There's an SD card indicator showing that an SD card is inserted properly and is working. There's a parking mode that it has that requires an extra wiring kit. So this shows that it is not active right now. I don't have that kit, but if you do have that kit, it gives you 24-hour protection while you're parked, and the dash cam would be able to record all the time whether the car's turned on or not. That way, if the car was parked and it was hit, you would have a video recording of when that happened and what happened. It does record sound unless you turn that off. So the microphone is showing that it is actively recording sound, and it is recording my voice right now. It also gives you the current date and time. And your videos will be time-stamped showing when things happened, what date, what exact time. The time and date stamp can be turned off. When you're driving, it also shows which direction you're going, and it shows your speed, your miles per hour. Over here, it shows the video resolution front and back, and it shows the current total trip time from when you first turned on the ignition and the camera started up. Now it'll reset every time you turn the car off and then start again when you turn it on. And there's a little window up in the corner that shows what the rear view camera is seeing. There is a power button on the side of the camera, so you can manually turn the camera off and on if you want to. So this power button does two things. Push it once and it takes a picture. Push and hold it and it turns the camera off. And it turns the camera back on. There we go. These buttons at the bottom of the screen of the front camera have different functions. Dual functions for all of them. The menu button gives you a wide range of different options. It's also the mode and the back button. The next button takes you up through a menu item, or it's also the mute button. The middle button is the emergency lock and Wi-Fi button. Pushing that button automatically saves the last video clip that was recorded and locks it from being erased. The down arrow takes you down through menu items, and it's the one that switches the camera view from front to back. And this is the OK and confirm button. Everything's set up on the dash cam, front and rear. So now I'm going to drive around, get some video footage with it, and then take a look at it later, see what the quality of the video is during the daytime and the night. Here's some more of the video footage from the Rove R2-4K dual dash cam. It gives very clear and bright daytime images, as expected from the Sony Starvis 2 image sensor. The Starvis 2 is an excellent sensor, even performing well in nighttime situations. There's some great dynamic range showing from the bright to the darker areas. Here's some nighttime recordings. The image sensor does a good job of capturing nighttime video. Things show up very well too in low light situations. You're able to read license plates, signs, etc. The front camera does a better job of it than the rear camera, but that is to be expected due to the rear camera's lower 1080p resolution. Overall, though, it has a very good nighttime performance. And here's some of the saved clips that were protected from being deleted when I pressed the emergency lock button on the back of the front camera. Fortunately, I never saw an actual accident and saved a clip from that. But I wanted to test the Save Protect feature, and I might have caught a few bad drivers while I was at it. But suffice it to say that this feature works perfectly and would really come in handy in the event you were involved in an accident or you were witness to someone else's accident. So there you have it. The Rove R2-4K dual channel dash cam. I think it's a very good one. I would highly recommend it to you if you're in the market for a dash cam. This is a great one. Thanks for watching. Have a great day and drive safe.